Hi, everyone. Steve Adubato, Mary Gamba. This is Lessons in Leadership. Mary, is there a typo here? Because my notes say
that we're old.
We have a seminar on listening. Apparently, you didn't watch it.
Okay, sorry.
This is the 200th episode of Lessons in Leadership.
I honestly can't believe it. And I have to say thank you to Sylvester, our talented editor. He let me know at the end of our last taping that when we were going into this taping, we were nearing our 200th episode. And I said, no, that's not possible. And I did the math in my head. I double checked our, 3 times. I'm like, are we really here? And we have arrived. I don't know exactly what it means, but we're here.
Yeah, so let's do this. Before we go any further and talk about how great we are, why don't we acknowledge the team that makes Lessons in Leadership possible. April, do me a favor, get off your phone. You're going to be coming on camera. April is a great makeup artist. Elvin, this show would not be possible. Elvin, one of the first things we did, Elvin came in to look. Oh, my God. Oh,
I love that control room. It looks so official. Look at all it takes to make Lessons in Leadership happen.
Is that real? Hold on, Elvin.
Of course it's not. Of course
the best. Is it real or is it one of those fake backgrounds?
This is a fake background, Steve. You know that.
Mary, it is.
It is a fake background, but I don't know if people would have known, but it is that complicated. And
let me ask you something. Let's cut through all the BS. By the way, Mary, isn't that your new 2025?
It is. So, Elvin, I have an announcement to make. So 2024, my word of the year was intentional. And for so many reasons, literally when I started January 1, I said, all right, it's no BS. And I know it's technically 2 words, but I'm officially making it 1 word when I say it very fast and when I say it all the way through.
Okay, so no BS. Elvin, let me ask you.
Yes, sir.
Put the magic of TV.
I like the other background. No, that's your home. So, no, it looks great. The other one looks more impressive to people watching. So, Elvin, let me ask you something. When you first came on board and we said, we're going to do this brand new series, we have all of our other programs for the Caucus Educational Corporation one-on-one. Remember them with Jackie Chicarico and myself, Think Tank, and also State of Affairs. Jackie hired the executive producer there. Delaney, our senior producer at one-on-one. What a great team. And I said, yeah, let's do this other thing called Lessons in Leadership. And you had to help put it together. What did you think this show would be and what has it become?
Well, I watched the show before you told me you wanted me to come on and do it. And
it's that little thing COVID happened, Steve. We used to be in person.
Yes.
And then as soon as we went remote, we said, who could make this work? And that's when we reached out to Elvin.
Got it.
Yes. So I had watched the show and I saw the show had potential. I didn't think that you'd be bringing Frank, myself, Scarlett, and April into your conversations on a regular basis. So
since you mentioned Frank, he's a new president of another state right now.
We're not going to talk.
That's all I said. Frank Brown, who is the greatest audio engineer in the world, he's coming on. And what do you mean? Why wouldn't I? First of all, audio matters. Why would I not? And camera, Scarlett, who is awesome behind the camera, our camera operator. Why would we not bring the best? And April, the greatest.
Well, no, I didn't.
Your hair when you're going to come on camera. I saw that.
I didn't think you'd be bringing us on to the program to be on camera, because from watching the show previously, it was just you, Mary, and your guest. There was no behind the scenes, coverage. So I didn't think we'd be on camera. And then just one taping, you just like, come on camera. And I don't think Frank and I were ready. But, because we pay attention to the programming, when you're speaking, you and Mary, we were able to chime in and give our thoughts on what you were talking about.
And before I go to Frank, let me ask you your thoughts on from a programming point of view, in all seriousness, the benefit or value of that, of bringing other people, because you're not just great technical production artists, you're also leaders who have important things to say. And I kept thinking, because I'm big on sports podcasts, and there are different folks that, Pat McAfee making $1 gazillion in ESPN. He's got different players, different people. And Howard Stern before that had different people. They're goofballs, but you guys are top professionals. I thought, let's mix it up. Is that just my own idea of what makes sense, or do you think it makes sense from a programming point of view? By the way, what are you going to say now that you're on camera?
No, I think it makes sense because you're getting a perspective from someone like myself, who's a younger person. Not to say that you're older, but younger person, different
By the
demographic.
way, his audio is not working right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that hurts, Elvin. So that's
Is it
it.
really
That's
not
all
working?
the time we have.
Take it up. Okay.
Is it not real? It's really not working?
No,
No,
he sounded just fine.
You're working.
Oh gosh.
Okay, you were talking about how young and youthful you are. Go ahead.
No, but I think it brings a different insight to the programming.
Is that it? Is that?
Now I'm worried about my audio. So
You
get
sound
Frank.
great, Elvin. He was just busting your chops. And you
Man.
were implying. You were
And I was looking at Frank like, Frank, is something wrong? Frank's sitting there all like, nothing's wrong. I'm over here looking around.
Frank, we've been together for 30 years, working at A Plus. By the way, Elvin is great, but somehow he's a bit gullible, don't you think? Because I just got him.
But Steve, first of all, happy 200th to everybody that works on these shows. Even the producers that are not even pictured right now, Scarlett, April, Mary, of course, who works ever so hard all the time. I mean, when Steve sleeps, Mary's working, and Steve for coming up with this idea, man. We want to thank you, and the people around really thank you, because I'm telling you, people are starting to notice me when I walk around. I've been on this show a little bit too much, but
I love it. By the way, I want to make it clear. On Lessons in Leadership, while there are a whole bunch of producers on our other Caucus Educational Corporation public television programs, Mary is the executive producer and Mary, do you do all the booking?
I do all the booking, all the producing, all the post-production. There are no other producers, Frank.
Well, I mean, other producers that work in Caucus, but the Caucus.
I know. We love Caucus. Don't get me wrong.
No,
but
in their inspiration.
Hold on.
Yeah, and while Scarlett's coming over, I just want to say that when this started, it was a small little audio podcast, and Steve's like, "You've got this in addition to everything else that you're doing." And thank goodness I figured out how to do it. But yes, it is just me and all of you who make my life so easy. So thank you, to Scarlett, to Elvin, to Amy, and
April's over there. Amy does
and April, and so I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you to everyone on our 200th episode.
And Scarlett, hold on, do me a favor. Will you uncross? Stop flexing.
I'm just a security guard, okay?
Okay, show everybody what you're wearing.
I'm wearing a World Baseball Classic,
Go ahead.
Dominican Republic jersey, worn by
Juan Soto?
Soto. No.
Juan Soto wore this. Yeah,
Future Met.
I got it. Scarlett is a great camera operator. He works on so many different productions, but he's told me privately that he loves working on Lessons in Leadership, and he frankly doesn't even have to get paid. It's so much, he enjoys it so much. You remember telling me that?
I do not.
Okay, that's it. You're done. April, come on over here.
I do not.
I do not.
I do not.
April, April, you look great. This is April. April's been our makeup artist from day one, I'm pretty sure, right? I know I'm not supposed to do this. April, let me ask you something. How uncomfortable are you right about at this moment?
Pretty uncomfortable. That's okay.
And even though it's hectic at times, in all seriousness, our 200th episode, congratulations to the great team of Lessons in Leadership. This is a setup. What makes Lessons in Leadership, in all truth, a lot more fun than probably any other program we do? Why?
I think because of like our vibes here and how we get along and Mary and just like
There's a vibe.
yeah.
But why is it that you and Scarlett, there's always like some argument that you're having over what you're going to have for lunch? Like
The important stuff.
the important stuff. No, they have lunch all the time. And by the way, I always hope they get something normal and regular, but they get something exotic and the smell is here for like 2 days. But enjoy yourself. That's great. They're planning, by the way, it's 9:00 in the morning. They're planning lunch right about now.
It's the important stuff, Steve. And speaking of important, for our 200th episode, we need to get ready to throw to a very important segment. So I just teed you up for that.
Thank you to Elvin, Frank, Scarlett, April, Amy, Sylvester, the great team of Lessons in Leadership. Tee this up, and then on the back end, you and I are going to talk about what we like to call strategic thinking and leadership. Go ahead, tee it up.
You got it. Yeah. So we had done we did two wonderful segments with Dennis Wilson, who retired president and CEO of Delta Dental of New Jersey, and then Paul Di Maio, who took the reins on January 1st. So we're about to see the second of those segments. They talk about the future of artificial intelligence, how we need to embrace it in business. and just touch on a lot of keys and tools to engaging your team. So it's just an honor. Delta Dental has been a great partner. So it was very intentional and strategic that I wanted to have the 200th episode be the one that we throw to this really great segment with Dennis and Paul.
I think that's it. Let's watch. We're joined once again by two of our longtime friends and colleagues, Dennis Wilson, President and CEO, retired in parentheses, Delta Dental, New Jersey and Connecticut, and also special advisor to the Delta Dental Board of Trustees, and Paul Di Maio, President and CEO, Delta Dental, New Jersey and Connecticut. Gentlemen, we had a great conversation last time. We want to pick it up going in a different direction. Dennis, help us on this. You and I have talked about leadership through the pandemic many times, but now you have more perspective. 5 years in, this will be seen. Most significant lesson, A, around leadership for you getting through that, and B, has it changed you as leader? Go ahead.
What I think, and what many leaders that I've spoken to who've led organizations, particularly in the healthcare space, through the pandemic, is this: listen to many sources of information, even if they're contrarian points of view, and understand and make your own decision based on the information and data that feels right to you, and then act accordingly. And then get out of that vacuum, get out of that silo, talk to others, talk to the team, and make the call as you see fit. That's the best perspective that I have about the foundation, about the pandemic. I do think, as I look back to our own experience, we helped a lot of people. We helped our customers. We helped our employees. We helped our dentists. And I wish we could have done even more of that, because the pandemic, even today, has significant effect on our business, and even will have more so going forward.
Well said. Paul, the pandemic and you as a leader, make the connection.
Well, it actually rewarded being nimble, being able to adapt to new situations that were occurring every day. It's interesting, Steve. Unlike a lot of companies, we avoided making these broad proclamations of we're never going to be remote or always going to be, none of that. We took it as it came. We kept our associates advised the whole time. We tried to communicate as much as possible. We looked out for their well-being. When we decided that it was time to come back to the office a few days a week, we had clear instructions and clear protections in place. And the environment was always changing, and we communicated amongst ourselves as a team. We communicated with our associates very regularly. So I think if we learned anything, it's one, you need to adapt at all times. You don't know what's coming the next day. Something like this could happen again, or worse, who knows? But the important thing is that you operate off of information, understand you might make mistakes. There may not be a right answer, but there's just the answer that's appropriate at the time, given the information we have.
So, Paul and Dennis, some changes, some events in our lives, you don't anticipate, it's hard to plan for, like the pandemic, and some, are coming, like artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Paul, real quick, the future, AI, what are we going to do? I'm afraid for my job. Paul, can you protect my job? Can you guarantee what? Yeah. What's your attitude about it? Then I'll go to you, Dennis.
Well, our attitude right now is we're embracing AI as a tool to harness to help us be more efficient, to help us drive better sales, to help us take laborious tasks out of our projects, to do things quicker. I use it in several different manners. We have an entire AI committee, governance committee that is tasked with making sure our associates understand how we're using AI. And it's always going to be, certainly in the near future, as a tool that enables us, that it's not a threatening thing for our associates. We tried to make that clear.
Excuse me, Paul, you're not threatened by it.
I don't think I'm threatened by it at all. No, I think it's sort of like being threatened by air. It doesn't matter, right? You have to breathe it. It's coming. It's here in a lot of ways. A lot of folks have been using it without knowing it. You go on Google, that's all AI driven now, right? So
That's right.
I think it's just something that we expect. We hope to utilize it to our advantage at every turn, and have the associate in the middle of that process, so that we're not ceding everything to technology.
Dennis, AI and leadership.
So AI and leadership. First of all, I think the AI world would do itself a great favor if they changed artificial intelligence to assisted intelligence. When you think about AI in that perspective, where there's always a human involved, where the AI part is a tool, it's a technique, it's helpful, and it can be extraordinarily productive. I mean, there's several examples, particularly in healthcare, where AI and diagnostics have worked hand in glove in cancer treatment and all of that, right? So I am extraordinarily enthusiastic about it. This isn't something that's going to go away. It's going to continue to evolve. And what I would encourage all leaders to do is speak to their teams, to their employees, to everyone at all levels within an organization, and encourage, one, that they learn about it, embrace it, and use it in every way possible to make them more productive and insightful.
Final question from my point of view. Delta Dental's long history, to disclose, a long-time underwriter of our programming at the Caucus Educational Corporation, very engaged and involved in the community, very engaged and involved in giving back. There are going to be changes at Delta Dental. Paul, the commitment to giving back ain't going to change, is it?
No, that's really embedded within us, to be honest with you, Steve. We have, I've worked in several companies. We have more employee/associate events, drives, collections. Our ELT is all heavily involved in the charities of our choice. And that's honestly in large part due to Dennis's leadership there, where he tasks everyone with, being involved in the community in some way that gives back. We're pretty fortunate. Our company is successful. We're going to build on that success and grow. And with that comes some responsibility to give back to the communities in which we operate. And that's what we're happy to do. We have a motto that changes the word of the year, but in this regard, we're not going to change. We're going to keep our involvement in the community.
Final words on that, Dennis.
If I could encourage Paul and the leadership of one thing, and I think Paul said it very, very well, and that is we're just going to go deeper, right? We're just going to go deeper in communities, be more helpful, be more expansive as we become more successful, right? We are a New Jersey company. We are of New Jersey. We are for New Jersey, and we will continue to be a bigger part of the fabric in the communities that we serve. Important to give back, critical to give back.
And AI can't replace that, can it?
AI cannot replace that.
To Dennis, we wish you all the best in this next chapter of your personal and professional life. And to Paul, we wish you and the team at Delta Dental all the best as you come in to be the CEO and carry on the tradition in your own unique way. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks so much, Steve. Take care.
You got it. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the North Ward Center, the New Jersey Sharing Network, Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Helix, Fedway Associates, Inc., the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com. That's stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media. So there it is, an important, compelling conversation with Dennis Wilson, Paul Di Maio. So interesting, Mary, to see transitions take place like that, succession work out like that, and two leaders who have a very close cooperative relationship. It doesn't always work that way. Mary, I want to try this. We've been doing these mini seminars. This is our 200th program of Lessons in Leadership. We've been doing these mini seminars. By the way, Mary, where can people find those seminars?
Thanks for asking. They can go to stand-deliver.com, and there's a link right on that website. And I think we have 9-10 of them. We talk about everything from leading more effective meetings. We talk about the thing Hub and Spokes, which is our version of relationship building, confrontational conversations. So tips, tools. I don't know about you, but I much prefer to learn by watching and listening than I do by reading. So I believe very strongly that we offer some great tips and tools. So stand-deliver.com, and Sylvester will put it right up on screen.
Yeah, so this one is simply called Connecting the Dots, that you'll see the graphic come up, Connecting the Dots. So what does that even mean? So one of the chapters in Lessons in Leadership 2.0, the tough stuff, right, is called Strategic Leadership and Communication, Connecting the Dots. What are we talking about? All right. So we actually were in a conversation the other day with one of our longtime clients who said he's a visionary, right? He connects the dots. You know, what dots are you talking about? He's always innovative. He's always innovating, creating, thinking about things that need to be thought about before anyone else thinks of them. Just stay competitive in your industry because things are changing all the time. AI is changing every industry. That being said, so the question came down to, he actually asked this out loud. He said, why is it that I'm the only one thinking about these things? Shouldn't other people be connecting the dots and be more strategic in their thinking? And Mary, you said what to that in our private conversation after that? And what does it have to do with leadership versus doing what has to be done every day and executing, which is more management? Go ahead.
It has everything to do with leadership, execution, getting stuff done. And what I said to you immediately following that is sometimes I think that when you're the CEO, if you're the president, the higher you go up in the ladder, if you're doing things right, you have a lot of people around you, surrounding you, supporting you. So you have a little bit of extra time. And I'm not saying CEOs have extra time, but they do have that organizational, that mindset, that connecting the dots, the bigger picture. Whereas what I said to you, Steve, was in my situation, we'll often finish a meeting and then there's at least 5 steps that come out of it, whether it's the meeting notes, a follow-up email. We always say, what was agreed to do. We did it with that person. We sent an email and said, here's what we agreed to by when. Also, proposals need to be written, follow-up, and then you need to actually execute on those things. So if, say, in my situation, I'm busy executing on those items, sometimes it's a little bit harder to step back and see the forest from the trees.
Okay, so and you know what? We said this was going to be a mini seminar with bullet points. It's not. We'll do that another time because I want to have this discussion. I want to follow up on that. So I'll give you a concrete example of what I'm talking about, connecting the dots and being a strategic thinker. And I'll do it without trying to be self-congratulatory. Lessons in Leadership itself. I was sitting there saying, we have all these series that are produced by our not-for-profit production company, the Caucus Educational Corporation. They are on public broadcasting and other outlets. And I said, you know what, Mary? If I'm going to write books of this name, Lessons in Leadership, you got the original Lessons in Leadership and then Lessons in Leadership 2.0, the tough stuff. Why don't we have a television series, which started as a podcast, only on audio at first, as Mary said? Why don't we have a Lessons in Leadership platform where we interview all kinds of leaders? And it doesn't broadcast on public television, but it's on other outlets that are more commercial and we have all these digital partners as well. Now, I think you're saying, Mary, yeah, Steve, you came up with that idea to do it, and then and P.S. we had to bring in sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And I think you're saying is then everybody else has to do the work, but you thought of it, and that's the distinction?
I believe it is, and not to the degree that you didn't do any of the work after it. I'm not implying that at all, nor am I implying that any CEO is not, quote unquote, doing the work. But an effective CEO has those people around them, someone that's going to handle the finances, someone that is going to handle the marketing. They need to think big picture of how to drive and how to lead that organization forward. But if they're the ones writing the proposals, if they're the ones sending the invoices, if they're the ones taking care of making sure that
doing the camera, doing the audio, directing
exactly.
The show.
So yeah.
So what do you say? But Mary, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I'm saying too many people that I've coached in leadership coaching that we do at our company, Stand and Deliver, they work in this chapter in the book. I call it linear thinking. It's A to B to C to D. Their dots are in a line, so they're executing what they had their to-do list that day. The kind of leadership I'm talking about says time out, step back. I'm at Blockbuster. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Netflix wants to come and partner with it. No. We're just going to keep opening up Blockbuster stores step by step, and then we know the rest of the story. It takes innovation, creativity, imagination.
It does, but it wasn't, I guarantee you, it wasn't the marketing department. It wasn't the CFO. Well, so the CFO was probably involved in that decision, but it wasn't the guy that manages that Blockbuster store. So it does come from the top, and that is what differentiates and distinguishes, in my opinion, the difference between a CEO and a president, the leader of an organization who needs to see big picture and think outside the box, and then delegate accordingly. And I'm not saying that I don't come up with ideas or that we can't expect others on our team to do so. It's just the majority of those ideas often do come from the top.
My opinion, I know we have a minute left, is that everyone needs to be, on some level, a strategic thinker, coming up with different approaches, ideas, innovating, adapting, pivoting, all those things. Because if it only comes down to one person thinking about the future in that way, God forbid something happens to that person, or that person's off the mark, or they're not doing it. Who steps up to do that? I'm saying, and we'll talk about this more in a future episode, that to some extent, everyone on a team needs to be connecting the dots and, frankly, being a more strategic thinker and leader, my opinion. Mary says she's too busy.
Hey, I connect some dots. I have to say, though, no, I always do. And I try to, but oftentimes, and again, I know we're almost out of time, it's just a matter of that work to get those things done that came from that big thought. That does take a lot of time.
200 episodes of lessons in leadership, the vision here, the execution there, and with our great team. Congratulations, team. See you next time. This edition of Lessons in Leadership is made possible by the Buccino Leadership Institute at Seton Hall University, Prager Metis, Valley Bank, the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the North Ward Center, the New Jersey Sharing Network, Delta Dental of New Jersey, the Helix, Fedway Associates, Inc., the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, Choose New Jersey, and Seton Hall University, showing the world what great minds can do since 1856.
This is Mary Gamba. If you want more leadership tips and tools, log on to stand-deliver.com. That's stand-deliver.com.
Promotional support for this edition of Lessons in Leadership with me, Steve Adubato, and my colleague Mary Gamba has been provided by NJ.com, NJBIA and New Jersey Business Magazine, CIANJ and Commerce Magazine, and the Meadowlands Chamber and Meadowlands Media.
The North Ward Center continues to expand their services and outreach in Newark from the childhood years to the golden years, offering programs like preschool, youth leadership development, Casa Israel Adult Medical Day Program, our Family Success Center, as well as a gymnasium, and most recently, Hope House, a permanent home for adults with autism, supporting and nurturing our autism community. with Hope House 2 coming soon. The North Ward Center, we're here when you need us.